Hey guys, welcome to the James Bond Show. I'm your host, Krazy Kajeevie. And guys, I just want to show you my new awesome toilet paper outfit. And why am I dressed up like a big shitty dunny roll? Well, it is time to take out the poop in the James Bond community. Krazy has gone crazy, and this episode with no fears, limits, or substitute is finally going to do what I should have done a long time ago. So pucker up guys, we're about to get crazy. Strap your seatbelts in. Okay, so recently I decided to put the James Bond Show out there on Twitter pretty much for the first time, and I changed my Twitter account from Krazy Kajeevie to the James Bond Show. And guess what happened? Well, if you guys don't know, there's a really, as I mentioned the other day, a very disgusting page on Facebook called For Bond Fans Only, as I call For Bond Fags Only. Bit of a joke because Joe Emery, the host there, is homosexual. Now, this guy, Joe Emery, has a henchman called Andrew T. Llewellyn. Joe Emery and Andrew T. Llewellyn chastise, attack, belittle anyone they can. Anyone that doesn't fit into their left-wing crazy ideology where you have to agree that James Bond has to die or James Bond has to be black. And if you don't agree with Joe Emery's fetish for men and basically sausages instead of clams, then you're a bad guy. Well, pucker up, Emery, and brush your teeth with this, buddy, because we're going to clean all the shit that comes out of your mouth. And Andrew T. Llewellyn, bend over, Andrew T. Llewellyn, because this is going to clean you out. Now let's have a real good look at this. And I can tell you guys with this video, this is the last time I approach the cockroaches in this so-called James Bond community. Now, Joe Emery and his little clan, his friends. Oh, by the way, Joe Emery's got a fake account called Neil Dom, whatever it is. Right, one of his little fake accounts, one of his other little fake accounts is Le Chiffre. And what he does, this coward, he hides behind these Facebook pages, fake Twitter accounts, etc., etc. He threatens people, he attacks them, he threatens with violence and all this other stuff. Though he'd never really get in the ring with me because it wouldn't go too well for him. Now his little henchman is Andrew T. Llewellyn. Now, let me jump into a little point here. So I put the James Bond Show out there on Twitter and I got attacked by some social justice warrior, Twinkie eating fat Nazi woman that I've never even met in my life, don't know, never heard from. And she posts this thing, I believe it came from her, posts this Twitter thing talking about, oh, don't go to the James Bond Show. Hey everyone, block him because he's a racist, he's a homophobe, and he's a chauvinist. So let's go through these things one by one, shall we? Oh, this toilet paper's, here we go, I'll tuck it behind the ears. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's go through something one by one. First of all, I shouldn't even need to explain myself, but this is the last time I ever do it, okay? Joe Emery calls me a racist because I want James Bond to stay. Tragically, I can't believe it, I'm such a villain. I want Ian Fleming's James Bond to stay as he's been. Wow, from 1952 in print, 53 printed out into the books, to, well, pretty much 2020. I want James Bond to remain white. Why? Because that is what Ian Fleming created, a white British agent. Now, I read a comment from a genius that posted a comment on one of my videos, and he basically called racist and stuff like that because a black man can be white British. Well, okay, if a black man, sorry, not white British, but a black man can be a British secret agent. Okay, cool. So let's go with that. So if we're going to kill off everything Ian Fleming created, and he's not going to be a white British imperialistic secret agent anymore, and he can be a black man because a black man is British, well, what about an Asian James Bond then? He can be born in England. What about an Arab? An Arab that was born in the back end of London 35 years ago. What do you think? An Arab James Bond, the name's Bond, Mohammed Bond. How about that? Let's have Mohammed Bond. What do you reckon? An Arab as James Bond. No, I've got nothing against Arab people. Arab people are lovely. And I tell you what, some of those Syrian women, I'd brush up the pearly whites just for a kissy with them. Very attractive women. So this isn't an anti-Arab thing. It's just, do you look, honestly, do you lefties, you tree huggers, you green mafia, you gay Gestapo, all of you, you little lefties, do you look at an Arab man and go, woof, oh my goodness, now Huckbid over there, Huckbid or Muhammad, oh, they would make a great James Bond. Do you really? See, the difference is, at the James Bond show, I don't have fears, limits and substitutes, and I don't bow down to being a coward. A lot of you believe exactly what I say, but you don't have the guts to say it. You sit behind your little computers and your little screens like keyboard warriors, half of you, and most of you don't even reveal your faces, just your voices or just your little pathetic words. So let's get back to Joe Emery. This is a man that says he's so about morals and he's against racism and he's against homophobes. Okay, well, if you're all about morals, Joe Emery, tell us all across the Bond community and this whole Twitter world, the Facebook world, why were you found in bed by your wife with another man? You had your penis in another man's bottom. Everyone knows it, that's a fact, and you won't even deny it. And the photo was going around of you in bed with another man, and I've seen that photo. So please, Joe Emery of For Bond Fans Only, explain to everyone how moral you are. And Andrew T. Llewellyn, when I broached the topic, hey man, just come out and admit you're homosexual, that's alright, you want to be homosexual, cool. I got nothing against that, guys. I got nothing against it. I just don't want a gay James Bond. Just like I don't want a black James Bond, but my best friend is black. So, wow, my best friend is black and I don't want a black James Bond. Guess what? My best friend who's black doesn't want a black James Bond. Also, one of my very close friends, who's also an admin on James Bond Real Fans at Facebook, he's black and he doesn't want a black James Bond because that's not what the character is. And my family and my friends all know that the number one hate that I have on this planet is racism. I studied for years the life of Joe Louis, the boxer, because I wanted to make a film about him and how he was a world heavyweight champion back in the late 1930s, and I believe from memory it was around 1939, where he fought in Germany against Max Schmeling. And then he comes back, he's representing America, the country he loved, and he comes back and he's treated like a dog. And he's got to sit at the back of the bus. He can't go into a restaurant with white people and sit at the same table. That is sick, horrific racism. And for anyone to ever accuse me of that is just absolutely sick. And what's my crime? Because I want James Bond to stay how Ian Fleming created him. Because that's what he is in the novels. And that's what I will always see in the film. It doesn't matter if they cast a white man with blonde hair. That doesn't matter at all. It's got nothing to do with it. It's completely chalk and cheese. I would prefer an actor that looks like Matthew Good. I would prefer Matthew Good because he's tall, dark and handsome and white, and that's what Bond is. Just the same, if I see Shaft, I do not, and ad nauseum, I've said this 10 times over, I do not want to see Macaulay Culkin playing Shaft. It would look ridiculous. Idris Elba is one generation away from the Congo, and people think I'm being an arsehole or I'm making an insult. No, I'm actually telling you, he's one generation away from the Congo. He was born in England, right? His parents were born, his father is from the Congo. That's just a fact, guys, okay? So, Joe Emery, Andrew T. Llewellyn, when you want to go and put these Twitter rants and these Twitter things against me, the whole world is just seeing your absolute ignorance, okay? And now I've exposed you what you are, and the whole Bond community and world know what you are. I've got nothing to hide. I'm here, I say it all. Now let's get on to the I'm a homophobe thing. Okay, first of all, if there was a gay man in a burning car or a burning house, I would show him absolute love, or a lesbian woman, and I would run into that burning house or that burning car, and I would risk my life to save that person. And if I knew they were gay, I'd run just as fast as anyone for a heterosexual, because life is a life and I love people. So to call me a homophobe is disgusting. Now, I've said some things in jest and had a joke, and I've said sperm vampires, etc., etc. Well, if you actually look at that in detail, it was correct. Was it a bit crass? Did it sound a bit wrong for me to say that? Yes. And to those I offended for that, I humbly apologise, and I sincerely apologise. So I've got nothing against people who are gay, and that's their lifestyle, okay? That is their lifestyle, and that's what they choose to do, okay? So, just because I go from the biblical point of view of marriage, now I was friends with a lot of people in the Bond community, and then I would post things about how I was against same-sex marriage coming into Australia through 2016 and 17 when it was happening in this country. And then suddenly people use that as an excuse to call me a homophobe and a hater and a bigot. Okay, so because I believe in Christian values and what God said in the Holy Bible in the book of Genesis, man should leave his father and mother and be joined with his wife. And yes, in the book of Leviticus, it also says, man shall not lay with another man as he does his wife, for it is an abomination. Okay? Now people can say, well, it doesn't mention this stuff in the New Testament. Well, actually it does mention it in Corinthians, and it also talks about it in the book of Revelation about the sexually immoral and where the sexually immoral go. So, I go by that. So people that speak out against that, you're speaking against the Holy Bible. You're speaking against Christian faith and belief. And that makes you a Christophobe. So you're a Christophobe if you want to call me a homophobe. Now, if you don't believe in God, that's completely ignorant, but that's up to you. That's fine. But I do. But I don't hate anyone. I don't hate gay people at all. Not one bit. I just believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that it should not be redefined by humans, because we didn't create it. It was created in the Garden of Eden by God, and that comes from the Holy Bible that has proved itself with so much prophecy. Now, one of the groups that had a crack at me out there that went and liked this post against me was James Bond Canada. Now listen, guys at James Bond Canada, I actually don't mind you guys, and I don't mind your show. I mean, you, Jeff, you have got a perfectly round, symmetrical kind of Ryan Johnson face, the director of The Last Jedi, and that reminds me of all the good times I had crying in the cinema. When I look at you, Jeff, I think of that great film and that great director. And Murray, you have got the best long horse type face ever since that guy who wears the big cap on that renovation show that I can't think of the name of. Restored. The guy in Restored. Look it up, everybody, Restored. Murray, you kind of look like him. But no, honestly, guys. Jokes aside, all right? I watched a video that you guys did 7 months ago with my good friend, the greatest guy, the Bond's godfather, the heavyweight of James Bond, the guy that reaches out to everybody, David Zashitsky of the Infomercial Experience. Now, you guys did a video with that brilliant mind, that brilliant man. And on that video, you, Jeff, said that, you know, people gossiping and that, hey, it's just Bond and we should all have fun. And Murray Longface, you know, you said that Bond brings us all together and stuff like that, and it should, and there shouldn't be bickering. Well, I want to just jump in here for 1 second. First of all, both of you lads, I've got nothing against you. Like I said, I like your symmetrical face and your long face. And Murray, you've got a nice smile. So I actually, no, jokes aside, I actually don't mind you guys. But here's the thing. It's David Zashitsky that in every one, and I know you're going to hear this, David, so I'm speaking right to you now. In every one of your videos, you're trying to push these people to condemn me. Whether you want them to bring up the James Bond show, actually by name, I know who you're speaking of. Because even in that video with James Bond Canada, and just me mentioning it, probably you're going to get a few views now. Unlike the, I think, 1,000 views you've had in nearly a year of it. Way to go. So, You're the ones, Zashitsky, that keeps pushing people to say, what don't you like about the Bond community? And in that very video, you even use the phrase, oh, and I go there, pardon the phrase, bonding. Now, you're only saying pardon the phrase because of my catchphrase, keep on bonding. That's why you brought it up. So every one of your videos, you're pushing people to point at me, the James Bond show, as being negative. I'm going to make you a deal, David. Test me one more time. Test me one more time, David. I don't want to make this video. And like I said, this is potentially the last time I ever talk about any morons within the James Bond world. So here's what I'm going to offer you, David. In one of your community videos, one more time, you bring up what don't you like about the Bond community and you push it towards me. I'm going to expose you for everything you already know I know about you. And we're going to talk about a certain Omega watch that I have a photo of on my phone. And we're going to talk about a certain letter, David, that you made up about that watch. Now, I could go into massive names and details right now and destroy you right now. And then everyone out there in the James Bond community, your friends at James Bond Canada, the Bond Complex, being James Bond, he already knows about it, but he's brushed it off. Right? All the other little James Bond show, Calvin Dyson, Dutch Bond fan, etc. I'll expose you to all of them. And then they can all know what you did. And you know what you did, and I know what you did. And actually, you know what? Out of decency, I've never brought it up, and I've never spread it. But if you want to push me as the bad guy, right? Or any of you do, and you want to go and like these things on Twitter that speak against me, I'll expose every one of you. So it's your choice. Keep pushing, keep making me the bad guy and the outcast, and I'll expose you. You know what? You, Murray, and you, Jeff, you said about Bond should be fun. That's all I want it to be. But the reason I have spoken out against people, against so-called James Bond fans is, and I'll mention one more time, when Barbara Broccoli came out and she said James Bond can be played by an actor of any colour, not one of you had the guts. You all claim to love James Bond and not one of you had the guts. Not one of you, JBR, you Jack Lugo, JBR, you little shillbean you. Not one of you, or channels, shows or anything, or even MI6, not one of you had the guts to defend what James Bond is. Ian Fleming's white imperialistic agent. None of you came out and said, no, he's white, that's wrong. Look, Barbara, you've done this good and you've done that. What? Fine. But you had the opportunity, guys, to say, no, Barbara, Ian Fleming did not create Bond as a man of colour. And you could have come out, guys, all of you, not come out the way Joe Emery's come out, because we know how that worked out for him. Right, and everyone else, because now he's an angry little man. Oh, by the way, Joe Emery also likes to post nude, basically almost nude pictures of Sam Smith. Now, I've seen the images. Everything that guy does comes back to me. And I've seen people going, what the F, writing on his page, what the F does this have to do with James Bond? And there'll be a photo of me probably dressed like this, but it won't be so funny because then people will come to the video and then they'll see Joe Emery exposed for what he is. And there's constant pictures of me put up on that page with cock and balls and things photoshopped on me. But the funny thing is, Joe, that's probably your dream. You want to see me maybe with your cock and balls. But here's the thing, Joe. I'm not gay like you. I actually like women and I'm not confused. You know? If you're going to be gay, be gay. But you know what? When you're cheating on your wife and you're such a man of morals, it doesn't make you look too good. So it's a disgusting little page. James Bond fans only. And one more thing to you guys, James Bond Canada. Like I said before, I don't have an issue with you guys at all. So don't make one with me by liking a post that calls me a racist, a bigot, and a homophobe, because it's disgusting. And also, apparently I'm a chauvinist. Well, if I'm a chauvinist, every one of you then is a chauvinist. Do you not love James Bond slapping Dink on the ass in Goldfinger? Man talk. Felix Dink, Dink Felix, slap. How many of you love that? How many of you, when that comes on, you'll watch it and you'll laugh, right? When Bond smooches on pussy galore, he's in the barn on the hay and he leans down onto it. How many of you Yeah, that bit of man inside of you. Man inside of Joe Emery, a different way, but how many of you guys, yeah, that's Bond. But how many of you are prepared to defend it? Because if you defend it, guys, you probably get called a chauvinist. And I'm a chauvinist and a racist because I don't want a big, butchy black woman, Larry Lynch, aka Lashana Lynch. Look, I say Larry Lynch for a bit of a laugh. If you guys have no sense of humour, seriously, you need some toilet paper, guys. So I call her that for a laugh. But I don't want her taking the 007 number. And guess what? Guess what, guys? I may be the only James Bond fan, as in channel, out here saying this, other than my good mate Gregor now. Gregor's also saying it. By the way, everyone, get over to Gregor's channel. Gregor, G-R-G-A, who's also defending the real James Bond, who's a white British male. Now, what I was about to say is, you may think I'm the only one who's so bad boy to do this. Well, go and have a look at the other channels. And when the woke stuff really hits, and it's fully official when the film comes out that she is 007, you watch Midnight's Edge, World Class Bullshitters, Geeks and Gamers. All of them will come out. Anomaly Inc., Australian, SC Reviews. All these guys, they're all like me. They're all anti-woke. They're all part of the fandom menace. We didn't want Rey raping Luke Skywalker. We didn't want Disney raping Luke Skywalker and cuckolding him like they did. So, if you want to call me a big right-wing extremist because I actually hate racism and I have no time for homophobia either with people picking on someone because they're gay, I'm not picking on them because they're gay. I simply came out in the start saying, no, I don't agree with that. Okay, and like I said, I made some silly comments and I've apologised for that. But in no way is that me. So, you guys, go and get your shit together. And if you want to keep coming after me, well, you know what it gets you. It gets you a video like this. Now, my intention is, from here on in, is to never mention any of you little grommets, two-faced, sneaky sharks ever again. And that's up to you guys. Till next time, guys. Keep on bonding. And Joe Emery, say hi to your ex-wife for me. See ya.
Joe Emery, I guess you're not going to pick on Krazy anymore. Hey, Krazy! All that toilet paper you wasted, do you know how much I could have got for that? On eBay, I could have sold that shit for loads of money. Yeah, you son of a bitch. Oh, Andrew T. Llewellyn. Suck it!